With the new 3.4 update, subject nations have seen a major overhaul. In this video, I'll do my best to explain the new mechanics from my current experience with the update. What are subjects and why bother? Managing dozens of planets and trillions of people is a massive undertaking, and in Stellaris, this is represented by empire size. Empire size is accumulated from directly holding systems, planets, districts, and pops. And when over 100 applies a scaling increase to technology cost, tradition cost, edicts upkeep, and makes your empire more vulnerable to espionage. A method of managing these debuffs is to not directly hold as much territory, instead delegating the daily burden to someone else, without completely severing your control over the territory you've worked so hard to gain. You can do this by navigating to the Planets and Sectors window, or pressing F4 and pressing the Create Vassal button on any sector that isn't your core sector. Your core sector is everything within 4 hyperlane jumps of your capital. You can create a new sector by pressing the Create New Sector button on any world assigned to the Frontier sector. Creating a vassal from one of your sectors will generate a new empire with the exact same ethics and civics as you. This is, to my knowledge, the most reliable way to get a subject. But what about foreign subjects? You can propose subjugation to any independent empire capable of diplomacy that's not at war. This will open the terms negotiation window, where you can set the proposed rules of the subjugation. If they have a high opinion of you and are also weaker than you, they will be much more likely to accept. If they are satisfied with your terms, then you can subjugate them for a cost of influence, more expensive the more strict your rules are. If an empire has an inferior or pathetic relative power to yours, which you can see by navigating to the contacts window or pressing F1, you automatically get the subjugation casus belli. If you win a subjugation war, then they will become your subject. If you subjugate an empire that already has subjects, those subjects will become your subjects. As far as I know, the only other way of getting a subject is to enlighten primitives. What are the different types of subjects? In the base game, there are 3 types of subjects: tributaries, vassals, and protectorates. Tributaries are the most independent form of subject, paying a tax for the protection of their overlord. A tributary must pay at least 30% of their energy, mineral, and food production, but can be made to pay a higher percent in additional types of resources, such as alloys and consumer goods. Vassals can be further restricted, be it denying them the ability to claim neutral territory, forcing them to join in the Overlord's wars, constructing holdings within their territory, or even integrating them into your direct control. A protectorate is a very weak, often technologically inferior vassal, unable to pay more than 45% in basic resource taxes. Usually enlightened primitives will become protectorates, and can switch into vassals after enough technological development. This video is already going to be pretty long, so I won't cover the 3 new subject types that are included in the Overlord DLC in depth, but bulwarks are a defensive-focused subject, scholariums are research-focused, and prospectoriums are production-focused. They get powerful bonuses related to their specialization, but usually require a subsidy from their overlord. What are the downsides to subjugation then? As seen many times in history, denying someone their independence can lead to unfavorable results. In 3.4, it's no longer as simple as sending an envoy to improve relations or giving your subjects 2,000 energy to keep them in check. You have to balance the loyalty of your subjects. You can easily keep track and manage all of your subjects with the new agreements interface by navigating to the contacts window or pressing F1, then clicking the agreements tab, which shows either all of your subjects or all of your overlord subjects. Every subject has a loyalty score ranging from -100 to +100, and a monthly increase or decrease. Personally, I find the tooltip describing loyalty to be a bit too vague. Essentially, every non-player empire has an attitude towards you that affects their behavior. An empire with a cordial or friendly attitude is much more likely to accept a commercial pact than one with a suspicious or hostile attitude. When a non-player empire is a subject of a player, they can have only one of 2 attitudes, loyal or disloyal. Positive being loyal and negative being disloyal. This attitude is independent of the relations score, so it is possible to have a disloyal empire with fantastic relations, or a loyal empire who hates you. While opinion doesn't directly determine the attitude of the subject empire like in previous versions, a high opinion gives a positive monthly loyalty, and vice versa. So what do these attitudes actually do? A disloyal subject won't accept any of the Overlord's diplomatic proposals, and if it sees opportunity, will actively seek independence or a new Overlord via the Swear Secret Fealty interaction. Swearing Secret Fealty gives the Empire sworn to a casus belli on the subject's original Overlord, and if the war is won, then the subject will bow to its new benefactor. If a player is a subject and has a low loyalty, as far as I can tell, the only effect on the player is the percent modifier on the agreement acceptance when negotiating terms with your Overlord, essentially making it harder to get your Overlord to agree, for example, to reduce your taxes. You can still opt to make diplomatic pacts with your Overlord despite being disloyal. So what are some ways to increase loyalty if you are an Overlord? The most straightforward way to increase loyalty is to renegotiate terms and grant your subject more freedoms or a subsidy. You can only renegotiate every 5 years, so this isn't always the best option. If your ethics are similar to your subject, you get a bonus to loyalty and vice versa. While this is harder to directly change in your favor, it is something to take account when choosing who to subjugate. You can also increase loyalty via trade deals, and inversely, if you have a lot of loyalty to spare, you can expend it to demand resources from your subjects. You can ask your vassal to take a pledge of loyalty, which gives a monthly increase in loyalty. Though a disloyal subject probably won't agree to this. Another thing to look out for is how many subjects you have. Each additional subject will decrease the monthly loyalty of all of your subjects. This can be mitigated with either the Feudal Society Civic or the Shared Destiny Ascension perk. There are multiple holdings which have an impact on your monthly loyalty, both positive and negative. So, what are holdings and how do you build them? If in your contract you are allowed to construct at least one holding, you are able to do so by selecting one of your subject's planets and clicking the Holdings tab, or directly through the Agreements page. You can only build up to your holding limit, either spread across multiple planets or all on one. The Overlord Garrison, which to my knowledge doesn't require any DLC to construct, provides a 0.5 monthly loyalty to your subject, as well as reducing the crime on their planet. If you land up to 3 armies on the planet, you can increase the monthly loyalty up to a max of 2 per planet, which means that if you dedicate all 4 holding slots to garrisons, you can get a massive 8 monthly loyalty for the low price of 20 monthly energy credits. This method should keep all but the most rebellious subjects in check. And finally, thank you for all of the kind comments on my Beginner's Guide series.